Hi guys, it's Marenghi here. Hope you're doing very well. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and push the little bell icon, and then you'll be told about videos that I do, if you would want such a thing. But why wouldn't you? And especially not today, because I cannot emphasize this enough. Stick around, because we are exploring the psychology of one of the most evil characters that I've ever come across. Ramsay Bolton of Game of Thrones. So, Ramsay is an evil, sadistic psychopath who hunts people for fun. He flays people alive. He enjoys making an art form out of pain, an aesthetic out of pain, a game out of excruciating suffering for others, and to maximise that as much as possible. So not a nice chap. But the TV show version of Ramsay, which is the only one I've seen, I haven't read the books, but for this video I've done a bit of research on the book character, and Ramsay on the TV show is a bit of a sweetie compared to Ramsay in the book, who actually doesn't die in, is it season 6, where he gets fed to his own hounds. In the book he goes on to do a lot more evil for a lot longer on a big scale. Anyway, we'll leave that, but in the book his eyes are described as 2 chips of ice, and someone described his lips as like 2 worms fucking, and he's he's described as a beast in human skin. And when you see pictures of him, sort of cartoonish portrayals or paintings, very evil. A bit like the guy whispering evil things to the Cursed King in Lord of the Rings. You know, the sort of the really pale one. And Gandalf's like, shut up, Snake, or probably not shut up, something more dramatic. Anyway, you know what I mean. Very pointed chin, like I said, the eyes like that. In the book version, he actually develops an affection for his son because his eyes reminds him of his own eyes. He's got a very pointy nose and black greasy hair, and yes, it's no good. It's I don't know if you know this. He called his horse Blood, which tells you all you need to know, maybe about his recreational habits. And his evil army of men, who are much more evil in the book, were called the Bastard Boys, and would do unspeakable things for him, and were very loyal to him. The book Ramsay killed the husband of a newly married couple and raped his wife beneath the swinging body of the husband. Would that be too much for TV on Game of Thrones? I'm not sure. There's some quite hardcore stuff, but that is pretty bad. But Reek was also much more evil in the book. He used to fuck the corpses of Ramsay's kills. You know, when he hunts local peasant girls down with his dogs and horses in the book, completely naked, gives them half a day head start and goes after them. And if they give him good sport, as he calls it, if he enjoys the hunt, he gives them a quick death, and if not, the hounds feed him, and then Reek makes sweet love to their stiffs. So maybe Reek was the original Reek was too hardcore for TV. Okay. So some of my reflections on Ramsay. Now we've got the basic. Now you know who you're dealing with here. He really is truly evil. He wants to make an art of pain. He comes alive most. He's never happier when he's inflicting the most excruciating agony on someone. You know, and in a way tailored to them. You know, like a bit like in Harry Potter, where that place where you face your biggest fear. You know, like, you know, it's Theon Greyjoy is incredibly horny, and well, maybe that doesn't make him unique, but he has a reputation for being a player, let's say, and not the most ethical one. Whilst he's Ramsay's prisoner and he's being tortured all the time, Ramsay sends in 2 girls, including the kennel master's daughter, who's the one person Ramsay loves, to seduce Theon. And obviously Theon after weeks or months of torture, is freaked out and suspicious and just no. And then if a few minutes in, because they're so hot and naked and persuasive, he's going for it. And just as he feels like he's human again, and he's going to have a threesome with these two really hot women, Ramsay comes in with the trumpet. It's like, nope, and cuts his cock off instead. He's like a genius of evil, you could say. The way he makes Jon Snow's little brother run across the battlefield, and he often speaks so sweetly and nicely. He's like, do you want to play a game, little man? Here's the game. There's your brother. You go and run to him. You go to him. That's the game. And then, obviously, just before Jon Snow can reach him on his horse, an arrow goes through. And I've watched that episode like 2 or 3 times, I think. I try not to binge watch things, but Game of Thrones is so good. I have to look away each time when it goes through the back of the of Jon's younger brother. Ramsay is consumed with identity and self-importance. He's very insecure about his bastard status and overcompensates by constantly calling Jon Snow bastard in the Battle of the Bastards episode. Say, see you tomorrow, bastard. Hello, bastard. All that. He is absolutely he's a megalomaniac obsessed with identity, and self-importance, and just has the most huge ego imaginable. Most huge evil ego kind of thing. He wants total dom. He'd like ISIS, or probably, I don't know. Saying worse than Hitler is very, very risky, no matter what you're talking about. So I'm not going to go near the Hitler thing. And so maybe because of that, he destroys other people's identities. In the book, that he keeps one woman in a tower after eating her fingers and raping her. So he keeps her alive in the tower and just tortures her, and she lives a horrible, solitary, traumatized, isolated, broken, wretched life. And that's his fun, his pet. But here's perhaps one redeeming feature, and this is one considering what we've talked about in the last 7 minutes. This is one evil fucker. His one redeeming feature seems to be his respect and even love for the kennel master's daughter. Is it Rebecca? And he says in the TV show, she never feared me. And that made him respect her and maybe even love her. But again, like, he knows and she knows that it's a very thin line, and if she gets too boring or starts fearing him maybe, or shows fear of him, then things could turn very, very, very nasty. As he says to her, you know what happens to people who bore me. And it's not good. Speaking of good, maybe one of his central roles is the contrast with Jon Snow. Like Ramsay calling his horse blood, and everything's dark and black and red and fucked, and Jon Snow, the white pure snow, they are at opposite ends of the continuum, obviously. And Ramsay's evil emphasises Jon's good, and vice versa. Do you know what I mean? And it is interesting, I'll conclude on this, it is interesting that Jon, the one who's always trying to do right and often seems to be doing right and seems to be very virtuous and noble and brave and a great warrior and looks after the weak and wants to unite people, just gets fucked over for that constantly, even to the point of being killed and having to be resurrected. Whereas Ramsay, unless he has some very well hidden conscience, is just having fun, until the end. He's as evil as he likes, carte blanche, that flays people alive, the flayed man banner. Like, he's just a reckless, evil, destructive actor who wants to see the world burn, people in pain, and maybe not see the world burn, maybe not as quite as extreme as the Joker. Ramsay, it's sort of, you can see the logic of what he wants and why he does it, whereas the Joker is just pure chaos. I'm trying to think of a good sentence to close on Ramsay Bolton. No, I'm just going to leave it there. Ramsay Bolton is done. Alright guys, if you like that, please subscribe, press the little bell icon. If you really liked it, maybe check out my other video called Why We Like Game of Thrones So Much. Alright, playlist below guys. Take it easy, stay strong, stay honest, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.